play with me, or come after you heal. Get your ARV.
All right,
Tell me what you
start recording. Let me have my moment. We're gonna go 3, 2, 1. What they say, Houston, lift off? I don't know, maybe. I don't know. Houston, lift off. Boom, let's go. All right. So this is episode 4. Wow, episode 4. And I'm gonna be honest, man. This is something that I just felt like a lot of times I be on the phone with different realtors, different loan officers, different title agents, different referral partners in general, people that's trying to buy a home, people that's trying to rent a home. I deal with a lot of individuals in the real estate industry, and a lot of our conversations are very private, and I like to keep it that way. But what I've learned over time is that I do have general tips and general discussions that I talk about that can be helpful for individuals who are on the fence of trying to get into the industry. And when I heard that, it was like, man, you got to put yourself in a position to be able to give people the game, give people the gems the right way. And I am grateful for everybody that's in the industry that does go on Instagram, go on Snapchat, go on TikTok, and they give people the game. I love that. I love that for our people. I love that for our community. I love people that take the time out to not be selfish about what they got going on, to actually want to help people. And I just sat back from afar in the bleachers and was like, I feel like I help a lot of people, and I could put myself in a position where I can do the same thing, if not more. So here I am, episode 4. And this particular episode is called The 4 Pillars of Success. And these particular pillars for me have helped myself, have helped clients to be able to internally, not just from a professional perspective, but from a personal perspective, to be able to use what I'm telling you to be able to capitalize on it to help you buy a house, help your personal relationships, help your business, whatever you have going on. This is just my universal concepts that I have come up with myself that I feel like can help, and the people that I have helped do this have done the same thing. So let's get to it. Number 1, the first one I want to talk about is honesty. Being honest. And the thing about being honest is you can lie to the world. You can lie to the world. When you lie to yourself, it hit different. So you got to be honest with yourself. When you're honest with yourself on what your goal is or what you're trying to accomplish, you can give yourself a sense of direction internally, and you give yourself a sense of direction externally for anybody that's in your circle that you love on what it is that you're trying to do for yourself, what you're trying to do for them, or what you're trying to do for your business. So before you can accomplish anything, whatever that goal is, whatever your sense of direction is, you got to be honest with yourself first. Truly honest with yourself. You can lie to your girlfriend, you can lie to your best friend, you can lie to your mom, dad, your family. If you're lying to yourself, that's an internal pain that won't get you anywhere. So whatever you're trying to accomplish, whatever that may be, step number 1 in the pillars is you got to be honest with yourself. And I'll use my personal examples. My second incarceration, because I've been incarcerated 2 times, going to prison twice, unfortunately. And I can't even say unfortunately, because at this point in life, I was able to be a better man for myself and for the community for going to prison 2 times. So at first it was that feeling of man, I can't tell people what I've been through. I gotta hide it. I can't tell people that I've been to prison. I gotta keep this image up. What am I doing right now? I'm not being honest with myself. So when I started embracing what I've been through in my own personal life, when I got my real estate license, I felt like after I fought so hard, because mind you, the real estate commission already know that I've been incarcerated. They already know. So I'm fighting it, fighting it, fighting it, fighting it, and I finally get it overturned. You know what I did? After I got my real estate license, after getting it overturned, I then was like, let me not tell nobody that fight I've been through. Let me not tell nobody that conflict, that war that I dealt with for over 5.5 years of my life. Let me be this guy that's doing things the right way. Hey, how you doing? My name is Alan, and I'm not telling nobody about what I'm going through. And my first couple clients that I talked to, I wasn't really getting no results. And not even to say to this day that that's the reason why I wasn't, but I felt like internally, I felt like I was battling these letters, these phone calls that I would tell my mom and dad, I want to get in real estate, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But then once I got my real estate license, after this long fight of trying to get my license, I felt like I wasn't being myself. I felt like I'm just trying to be this professional and not really talking about my past and just trying to be like, hey, you looking for this, you're looking for that. And I wasn't getting any success. Mind you, in this particular time, it's only been maybe 60 days, give or take, that I'm cold calling and reaching out to people. And when I finally got a client and I started getting some love from the particular client, for some reason, I've just felt obligated or mandatory to be like, hey, I'm new to real estate. I'm going to try my best to get you this house. The reason why I feel like I'm the realtor for you is because I was an individual that lived a life being somewhere that I didn't want to be, like how you just told me your situation on why you don't want to live to where you want to live at anymore. I can relate. Not on that same scale, but I was an individual that lived somewhere that I didn't want to be at, that I put myself there. That's the honesty. I put myself there from being incarcerated. I felt led to the particular client that I talked to be honest about what I had going on in my personal life. And I used that I was incarcerated from my mistakes and what I did in my past, and that I no longer want to be an individual that lives like that no more. I had to get to a point in my life where I got disgusted on where I live. You have to get to a point where if you want to change in your life to be successful, you have to get to the point where you feel disgusted where you are. And you got to take that disgust and you got to use that as fuel in your life to bottle that up and be like, you know what? I do not want to be this person anymore. And it doesn't matter who hears it. I'm not embarrassed about it. This is where I was. And because I feel like this, I'm the perfect person for you to be able to lead you to the promised land. So I had to get myself enough courage to be like, you know what? Yes, I'm in real estate now. And yes, before that, I even told that client that yes, I'm an individual that when I first got my license, I didn't want nobody to know about my past. I was too scared to talk about how I was incarcerated. I was too scared to discuss how I spent 1,800 days incarcerated. I was too scared to talk about, yes, I was in college. I wanted to be a bio major and I wanted to be a chiropractor at that time. But that winter break, I was with my group of friends and I got drunk and I beat somebody up too bad. And the judge wasn't trying to hear that. And I went to prison and did 18 months. And I came home and now I'm a convicted felon at 18 in 2007. And now, even to this day, even though the military is now giving me some grace, in 2025, after 18 years, I had to live with that. I had to put myself in a position to be an entrepreneur just to make a decent living for myself, because every time I try to get a job anywhere that was a government job or any job in particular, I couldn't get it. So I had to be honest with that particular client. I had to be honest with myself and ask and say to myself, if I want to be the best real estate agent, like the times I would call my grandmother, rest in peace, the times I would call my mom, the times I would call my dad, the times I would call my family and be like, family, I know y'all upset at me right now, but when I get out of here, I'm honest with myself to know that I made the mistake. I'm honest with myself to know that this not going to happen again. I apologize. And the best way to apologize, before you apologize to anybody, you got to be honest with yourself and why you're apologizing. So I had to be honest with myself when I talked to that particular client and be like, this is what I went through. I can be the best person for you on a real estate agent side of things because I'm an individual that was somewhere I didn't want to be. And now I put myself and earned that. I put it on my back, all my burdens, everything I was embarrassed about, everything that was hard for me, to put myself in a better position. And because I did that for myself, I was honest with myself, I'm going to be honest with you to give you the decision now. Do you want to work with me? Yes, I made these mistakes in my past, but the Real Estate Commission in Maryland gave me another chance. But I'm going to let you decide if you want to work with me from my honesty. And at that particular moment, that was the first time that the client was like, you know what? Wow. Yes, I want to work with you. And from that particular moment, there were still times later on down the road where I would give that story that some people didn't want to work with me. And that was okay. But because that particular person was able to give me a shot, reminded me of the times when I was in that cage and I was writing the judge saying, hey, I just found this loophole in my case saying that based off of what's happening with the public safety combat program and this being a non-violent charge, that I could be able to be eligible for parole, for example. I'm writing. Every Sunday, we get about 12 to 15 days before the cage closes for me to go out on a Sunday to be able to go to the law library. Because in the state of Maryland, where I was at, I was only able to go to the law library on Sundays, which is, when you think about it, the most important day out of all the days in prison. What day is more important in prison than the law library? The day that you can actually give some of your time back. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be able to be in a position to be able to talk about it to this day, about the power of education. Because you can go to the law library any other day, but on Sundays, that was the only day that we was able to go to the law library. The law library. And here I am in a position, grateful enough from that moment to be a little over a month away from getting my bachelor's of law. I'm grateful for it. I give God all the glory. So going back to the honesty part, with that particular client, they trusted me and I was able to sell my house. I was able to sell them my house. I was able to make a commission and they was able to tell other people about it. And to this day, we still in contact. I've been in over 500 real estate transactions closed to this day from when I first started 9 years ago. So I'm grateful. But I remember it like it was yesterday, just to be in a position where I was honest about it. And because I was honest about it, it opened up a lot of other referrals. It opened up me being in a position where I'm living in my mom's basement. But I'm going to tell you the beauty of it. And I talked about it in one of my other podcasts. The beauty of honesty with all of that is that I was living in my mom's basement when I came home from incarceration. And I remember my mom opening the door, my aunt being there. I remember being able to get a home cooked meal, my mom not judging me. I remember going in the basement, my mom hooking the basement up for me, how beautiful it looked compared to me being in the cage. Because that same address, 32, 35, Helix Road, don't matter if I say it now, I don't live there no more. But I remember at that time where I would write that address all the time, and I get that address back. That's the address out of all the addresses that wrote me the most. When I was in the cage, and the officer would come by, and he opened up the hatch, and he'd be like, "Upshur, you got mail." I know if nothing else, if I gotta anticipate who that letter came from, it came from that address. So I'm grateful. Love my mother. I remember my mom telling me when I first came home from incarceration that, son, you don't got a lot of time. I'm trying to move down south. So you gotta figure out this real estate stuff, this motivational stuff. You gotta figure it out quick because mom got her own life. She gotta get to it. Let me tell you the beauty of that fast forward, and we still gonna go back to honesty. The honesty of that is that when my mom told me that, and as motivated as I was, when you fast forward that story, that same address they used to write me all the time on both incarcerations at that too. My mom wrote me the most out of everybody. Shout outs to mom. I love you, mom. She wrote me the most out of everybody. But the beauty of it is when she would put that extra like push on me to figure this out in life, I was that real estate agent. When that honesty came into play, when the real estate commission asked me, "Mr. Upshur, why should you get your license?" They already had the file in front of them. They already know what I went through. They already know what I've been through. But the reality of it is, when it comes to honesty, I showed them all the motivational speakings I did. I showed them that I spoke on behalf of Under Armour. I showed them that I went to CCBC College. I showed them that I was at BCCC College. I showed them I was at Morgan State University multiple times. They seen all the Facebooks. They seen all the Instagrams. They seen that I was relentless on not just doing it for me, but helping the community. I truly believe that. And when it goes to the honesty part, when it comes to my mom and how she pushed me to say, "Son, I'm about to move down south," the beauty of it is with being honest is that I was the real estate agent. My mom chose me to be the real estate agent after all the letters that she wrote me and I wrote her. And I told her, "Hey, mom, when I get out of incarceration, I'm going to be the person that be the realtor. I'm going to be the one that help the community. I'm going to be the one that help change the world through real estate." Rest in peace to my grandfather, because before he died, some of the beautiful words that he told me that I never forget on my mom's side, who was a pastor, he said that, "Grandson, you're great at what you do in real estate. Awesome at it. But the thing that's going to change the world for you is the power of your tongue. You're great at selling real estate. Great at it. But what's going to help you change the world is the power of your tongue." It's one of the last words my grandfather said before he died. And at the time, I never got it, never understood it. And the power of it is that it took me up to this point here in Valdosta. CDS Studios, thank you. Big shout out. That inspiration that he told me was why I'm here right now in front of a mic. Because I just always put in my mind, like, I'm not no rapper. Like, rappers go in front of mics. But my grandfather was a pastor. He built the church up from the ground up. I seen him do it. I was sitting in the pews for decades growing up. Rest in peace. I seen him do it. And for him to say that about me, it was almost like he passed me the baton. So I gotta keep it going. Both my grandfathers gone. I gotta keep it going. I gotta do it on my tongue. And I don't even feel like I'm qualified. You know, I got one grandfather who was a Golden Glove professional boxer, Vietnam War, Korean War. I got one grandfather who bought a church as a contractor, bought it from the ground up, built it up, had a church over 30 years. I don't feel qualified. I don't, but I know they're looking down on me right now, so I gotta do what I gotta do. I gotta, both of their blood running in me, so I gotta make it happen. I gotta do it. So that's my honesty. I sold my mom's house. She live in North Carolina right now. She believed in me. We got it sold. She wrote me all those letters. The biggest currency in prison is stamps. That's all I cared about. I didn't care about the macros. I didn't care about the noodles. I didn't care about all of that. Yeah, it kept me fed. But the number one currency was stamps. I used to write letters all the time. Letters helped me get home from incarceration. Letters helped me write my mom. Letters helped me write my family. Letters helped me come home. Letters is freedom. So number one currency is stamps. Unless things change. I've been out for over 10 years. So, feel free to DM me or challenge me on that. But stamps. Stamps is the number one currency. Because think about it. You think about a noodle, or you think about a mackerel, when you think about sardines, when you think about clothes, when you think about an Xbox, when you think about anything when you're incarcerated, what's the number one thing that can get you home? A mackerel not gonna get you home. A noodle ain't gonna get you home. What's gonna get you home? You write that right letter to the right judge or to the right lawyer or to the right person. That letter that gets you home. That's the best currency. So remember that. Let anybody know if you do got somebody that's a loved one that's incarcerated. I don't want them to be incarcerated, but if they are incarcerated, just always remind them, keep writing. Writing is the best currency when you locked up, because all it takes is one letter. That one letter to the right judge, to the right lawyer, to the right person, that gets you home. That noodle won't. That food won't. It won't. That letter will. That's how I got home. That letter came back. Parole board wanted to hear me out. I had that meeting. Boom. I got delayed release. All because I kept writing letters. It was over 100 letters. Maybe 200-300 letters. It was a lot of letters. I can't even tell you how many it was. But I wrote a lot of letters. And eventually, almost 2 years later, they heard me out. And I came home because I kept writing. I done played one-on-one basketball, getting stamps to write letters. I done sold chicken sandwiches to get letters. All I cared about was the stamps. That was the best currency for me. So anybody that is incarcerated, if you can relay that message to anybody that's in there, let them know, like, stamps is the best currency. Letters. That's honesty. Step 2 out of number 4, is sacrifice. Gotta make sacrifice. After you honest with yourself and you know that that's the goal that you're trying to accomplish and that's what you want to do, you have to make sacrifices in your life to be able to accomplish those goals. What does sacrifice look like? Sacrifice looks like cutting off friends who aren't helping you achieve your goals. Sacrifice looks like relationships that you may be in that's not helping you accomplish your goals. Sacrifice looks like past mentors, father, dad, mom, sis, brother, grandparents. Whatever your goals are to help you be a better person, you got to be able to make the sacrifice on. If what you were doing in the past led you to where you are and you do not want that lifestyle anymore, you have to make the sacrifice to have a better life. Because at the end of the day, it's about you. You already went through the problems that you went through. You already had that hell that you already had to go through. So what sacrifice are you going to make for that not to happen again? If you are honest with yourself, which is step 1, and you know that you do not want to go back to that lifestyle that you had, whether it was addiction, whether it was prison, whether it was poverty, whatever it was, if you know that step 1, you're honest with yourself enough to know that you don't want to do that no more, The step two has to be the sacrifice. Who are you sacrificing in your life that's still doing that you don't want to do that anymore? Because it defeats step one. So you have to fully embrace step one. And when you fully embrace step one, when it comes to step two, you got to make the sacrifice. Because if you don't make the sacrifice, you back at step one. And if you back at step one, you ain't going to reach the 4 pillars of what? Success. Got to make the sacrifice. I got friends that I was cool with for decades. I had to cut them off. I love them to death. To this day, I still love them. But they have done things to me that have put me in situations where if I would have kept embracing them after coming home from prison, I would have been back. So I had to cut them off. Yeah, they don't like it. Yeah, they upset about it. They hate it. But at the end of the day, I can't reach here. If somebody really loves you like they say, they want to see you do better. They want to see you do higher. So why you don't want me to be higher? I want you to be higher. I'm willing to be honest about what happened in my life. I'm willing to be honest to say, hey, I can't deal with you no more, because I had to be honest with them. I can't deal with you no more because the way you living right now, I can't get to where I need to be, not just for me, but for my family, for your family, and for the society in general. So let's do it together. Let's honestly, step one, do it together. Let's sacrifice selling drugs. Let's sacrifice criminal activity. Let's sacrifice these things so that way we can take these things and be better individuals. It's going to help me, you, our family. We can be better people off of it. So when there is a stiff arm, from Baltimore, I gotta give a Baltimore Ravens reference, stiff arm, because Derrick Henry, we got him at Derrick. Derrick Henry, he get a good stiff arm. So when that stiff arm approach comes and you see that stiff arm, it's like, what are you to do? Are you going to be honest with yourself again and be like, you know what? I'm honest with myself enough where I don't really want these goals. Like I say, I'm going to embrace this friend that I have and F it. I spent 1,800 days in prison. F it. Let me just deal with this person who hasn't dealt with what I've gone through, or the struggles that I've been through while I was in there, or the 2 times I tried to, attempt suicide when I was in there, when I took sleeping pills when I was in there. Let me deal with this. Let me stop all of this that I've been through, all the nightmares, all the hard times I was on a bunk for all these years, to be with this person that I'm with right now that doesn't want to make the sacrifice, that doesn't want to be honest with themselves and live the life they want to live. Man, F that, man. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. It's your life. Be honest with yourself. Make the sacrifices that you have to make for you, because if you can't help you, you can't help nobody. So be honest with yourself, make the sacrifices, then go to that loved one, be honest with them, and tell them about the sacrifices that you have to make for yourself, and ask them, what do you have to do to be honest with yourself? What do you have to do to make the sacrifices? So that way, whatever your goals are, which could be a little different from mine's, but nonetheless, it's still the same concept. Are you willing to be honest with yourself? Let's talk about it. Let's be accountability partners with that. That's the honesty part. Then what sacrifices are you willing to make? Let me hear them. These are mine. These are yours. Let's sacrifice. Let's grow off of them and go from there. Because what that does is it leads you up to the third pillar. The third pillar is networking with like-minded people. So when you're networking with like-minded people, it's y'all understanding what your goal is, what my goal is. What are you honest about getting it done to make it happen? What am I honest about making it happen? What sacrifice are you willing to make it happen? What sacrifice am I willing to make it happen? And then us taking that and collabing together, not just with us, not just with your best friend or your mom or your mentor or your business partner, but then finding other individuals, other people with that same synergy to be able to network with like-minded people or whatever your goal is. What are you going to be honest about with yourself? What are you willing to make sacrifices with yourself? What are we willing to, with us both having this understanding, to be networking with other individuals who are like-minded like us, to be able to have this synergy, to be able to grow, to be able to accomplish the goal that we have? That is so important. Those are the steps. These are 3 out of the 4 to be able to network with like-minded people, to be able to make the sacrifices that we need for the goal that we have, to be able to be honest with ourselves. These are the conversations that we have to grow. We start with the honesty. You start with talking to somebody about, what are you doing differently? Be honest with me. What am I doing differently, to be honest with myself? What am I doing to be in a position now that when I came home back in 2015, now in 2025, sorry, to be home from incarceration for a decade? What did I do to stop the cycle of 2007, to stop the cycle of 2010, and to from 2010 to now 2025 to not get arrested again? What did I do? What did I do to be able to be now, to put myself in a position where I'm honest with myself for the last 10 years, to not put myself in a position to go back to prison? What did I do? Who am I connecting with to be able to be honest with myself, to be like, you know what? I don't want to break the law no more. You know what? I don't want to sell drugs no more. You know what? I ain't trying to be violent no more. I don't want to do that no more. To be able to talk to other people that's saying the same thing, who I know is honest with what they're trying to do. Then also to put myself in a position to be like, you know what? If you're doing that, I don't want to be around you. I don't want to be around you if you feel like you still want to sell drugs. I don't want to be around you if you feel like you still want to break law. I don't want to be around you if you want to do these things to put yourself in a position to go back to prison. I don't want that for myself. So if you want that for yourself, you're not the person I need to be around. That's me being honest with myself. That's also me making the sacrifice to cut you the F off, because I do not want to be around you, and I will show you quick that I will not be around you. And then being with like-minded people on step 3, to network with people that are making the honest decision to not live like that no more, to make the sacrifice to not be around people like that no more, and to be around other people to not want to be around that no more. And it leads up until number 4. Number 4 is consistency. Because I could be honest with myself all day long and say, I don't want to go to prison no more. And then I can make the sacrifice and say, look, I don't need you around me, so you ain't going to be around me. Get out of that. Get out of that. Get Derrick Henry stiff arm. I don't want you around. And then I can network with other individuals who feel the same way. Look, I don't want to go back to prison. I don't want to sell drugs no more. I don't want to break law no more. And I'm going to show you that. I'm going to make the sacrifice. I don't want you around. Don't be around. Please, get away. And then I can be around other people, and they could give me a war cry around me like, yeah, we ain't been around them. We've been around them. But you know why number 4 is so important about consistency? Because I can say that for a month, and then the next month I can feel different and be right back in prison. That's why. Consistency. You can do everything the right way, and you can have one day when you at a red light, somebody can be like, you just cut me off on the road. F you. Give you the finger. your window down, water bottle, dead part, you throw it in your car, hit you. You get out the car, and you kick that door, try to drag him out the car, beat him up. I'm only using this example because this is something, honestly, I can admit I did that crazy shit one time. And that could send you right back to jail because the police could be 4 cars behind you, and next thing you know, boom, everything you just did go out the window. Boom, it's over. Right back. Because you was honest with yourself during that time prior to that. You was sacrificing the people, you was sacrificing yourself prior to that. You was networking with like-minded people behind that. And then you was doing that for about 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, 8 months, 7 months, 10 months. And then one day you just got upset and was like, you know what, man? F me being honest with myself. F me making sacrifices. F me being like-minded with different individuals. I'm letting all that go. I'm beating this dude up today. Boom. Consistency. It's daily. It's not monthly. It's not yearly. It's not weekly. The last step, maybe the most important out of all 4, is consistency. It's a daily thing. It's not just for individuals who may have been an alcoholic or on drugs, because at the end of the day, failure can be an addiction. Can be an addiction. So to overcome failure, you got to carry it like an individual who's a drug addict. In my opinion, you got to be able to consistently fight it off. You got to consistently, just like how you got AA classes, it got to be the same way. Failure addiction classes. I don't want this for myself no more. I don't want this for myself. We should have more classes on it. We should talk about it more. And it should be broken up into different episodes because everybody sees failure in different ways. It might just be financial literacy, and that's okay. You might be a good individual, great person, but because you don't have the understanding of financial literacy, it can make you angry enough to be able to retaliate in a violent way. It might not be nothing else in life that makes you retaliate in a violent way. But just because you can't handle money a certain way and your money gets low, I know people like this. Your money gets low and it makes you angry. It makes you want to fight, makes you violent. Now you back in jail. So let's understand that. Let's understand a better way how you can understand money, so you won't have that lash out. So let's find different ways of understanding what you view as failure to not lead to drug addiction, prison, jail, abusive relationships, toxic relationships. So hopefully with these 4 pillars of success, someone somewhere out there in the world can take the concepts that I've created. Number 1, recap, honesty. Being honest with yourself, so that once you understand that, you can be honest with others. You can be honest in the community. Step 2, sacrifice. Make the sacrifices that need to happen with certain relationships, organizations, beliefs, so that way you can take what you already are honest about and use them to strive to be better. Number 3, network with like-minded individuals who are okay with being honest with themselves, being honest with the community or organizations. They take that honesty to make sacrifices for themselves, for their community, for their families that you can relate to. And they are like-minded individuals in what your goals are. So that's key. Be honest with yourself, make sacrifices, and be like-minded individuals to what your goals are. So y'all are in sync. And then step 4 is to be consistent. Daily. It has to be daily because you can miss a day and everything that you just did can go down the drain. It might mean nothing. So, honesty, number 1, first pillar. Sacrifice, it's number 2. Network with like-minded individuals is number 3. And number 4 is consistency. Break.
Come and play with me.